Ambazonia, you be in our country. The Republic say you be part of their own. Two countries with two independence, they say. The Republic say it be now one. Two countries with international boundaries. The Republic say it be now one. Now see when Boma swallow porcupine, brothers. Now you wait, the Republic they do. Now see when Boma swallow porcupine, brothers. Now you wait, the Republic they do. Ambalane, Ambalana, we homeland. Ambalane, Ambalana, we homeland. Ambalbe, Ambalbe, now we see it. Ambalbe, Ambalbe, now we see. Ambalane, Ambalana, we homeland. Ambalane, Ambalana, we homeland. Ambalbe, Ambalbe, now we see. Ambalbe, Ambalbe, now we see. You be part of their own. The minister say we'll be not 2 kilos of sugar. Where they go, dissolve and fall. And my boss say we'll be not difference. And they kneel down the maison. Nyamdi Pascal say we'll be not need which say where we not be past their concours.
There is no hope for the people of Cameroon. There is no hope for change in Cameroon. There is no hope for the Cameroonese people. There is zero hope. Anyone that was thinking or has been thinking that they can effect change in Cameroon using purported elections, it's living in a comic world, in a fictitious world, and living in fantasy. There is zero change in Cameroon through elections. Last week, the Cameroon colonial dictator told the Cameroonese people, told the people of Cameroon that presidential, that municipal, regional, and parliamentary elections that were scheduled for 2025 have been postponed to 2026. Here is what the people of Cameroon needs to know. Here is what the daydreamers, the political cowards in Cameroon needs to know. Here is what Maurice Kamto, Cabral Libi, Kawala, and anyone who is an opposition political party or leading an opposition political party in Cameroon needs to know. The Cameroon opposition's political parties in Cameroon have henceforth be disbanded by this move. Mr. Biya has sent political parties in Cameroon into the dustbin of history. Here is why. Normally, you will have the municipal elections, you will have the regional elections, and then you have the parliamentary elections to prepare, in which all political parties will participate to elect their various councillors, elect their members of regional assemblies, to elect members into the parliament. That is when the territory, the population, the country, and the various institutions are prepared for the presidential elections. Because these political parties will use whatever wins or gains they make during the municipal, regional, or parliamentary elections as the momentum to campaign for the presidential elections. Now, here is what Mr. Biya has done. And this is called a political mafia. The biggest political mafia in the history of Cameroon by the tyrant. Here is what they have done. They didn't just wake up overnight and said, hey, we're going to postpone the elections because obviously they are postponing the elections because, first of all, the country is bankrupt, according to Mr. Biya. But there's more to it than that. It's true that they are bankrupt and they cannot organize 4 elections in 1 year. Cameroon cannot afford to organize municipal elections, regional elections, parliamentary elections, and presidential elections all in 2025. It's impossible. According to Mr. Biya, the state has no coffers. There's no money in the treasury. The state is bankrupt. That's according to Mr. Biya, and according to the text he sent to the parliament as to the reason why he's postponing the 3 elections. Now, there's more to it than that. What Mr. Biya wants to do is that in 2025, there will only be presidential elections. And guess what will happen during the presidential election? Mr. Biya, as has always done, will get 97% of the vote. Elekam is no longer useful in Cameroon. According to the Minister of Territorial Administration, Mr. Tanganji, the governors are now in charge of elections. The senior divisional officers are now in charge of elections. The divisional officers are now in charge of elections. The mayors are now in charge of elections. So the ground is set for the already predicted rig of the elections in 2025. Mr. Biya or whoever they put in place for the Cpdm political party will have his 97% win. Or they'll probably just give him 90%, Now moving to 2026, when Mr. Biya has his majority overwhelming win, now you go to 2026, he will use that dominance, that win, to secure all the councils, secure all the regional assemblies, and the parliament. Opposition in Cameroon is a joke. They have been tossed to the dustbin. That's what Mr. Biya has done to these wannabe politicians. These men and women that do not understand what reality is, that have been deceived by the concept of democracy. And that's what Mr. Biya is using against them. Right? He's using the same laws they call democratic laws, right? It's called political mafia. What did he do? He went through the parliament. What else can Maurice Kamto do? Nothing. What else can Cabral Libil do? Nothing. What else can Edith Kawala do? Nothing. Whatever they do, they will end up in jail. You want to organize a protest, you end up in jail. You speak out, you end up in jail, or you get killed. They are all political cowards. So for the people of Cameroon, I feel sorry for all of you. You are all doomed. Economically doomed, socially doomed, politically doomed. There is no chance for change. So my advice to the wannabe politicians is that if you want change in Cameroon, mobilize yourself, pick up arms, and overthrow the dictator. If you are waiting for the international community, you will be disappointed. You've waited for the last 40 years. All right? The only hope for Mr. Maurice Kamto is to use the Brigade Anti-Sardinat, mobilize resources, and start an armed resistance to overthrow the dictator. That's the only hope for Maurice Kamto. Get together with those in the north and start the armed resistance to bring effective change in Cameroon. That's the only hope for Cameroon. Mr. Biya, biggest political mafia. Bye-bye Maurice Kamto. Bye-bye Cabral Libil. Bye-bye Edith Kawala. Bye-bye Cameroon opposition. You've all been tossed to the dustbin. All right, next. To the people of Ambazonia. Political manipulation and deception will not give you freedom, independence, or liberation. When Mr. Biya came in November 1992, 1 year later, he promised the people of Ambazonia, he promised the people in the two regions to reconstruct the Limbe Deep Seaport or the Victoria Deep Seaport and to rehabilitate the Tico International Airport. That was in 1983. That's 41 years ago. Where is the seaport promised to you 41 years ago? Where is the Tico International Airport promised to you 41 years ago? Where is it? Illusions, right? They made those promises when most of you were still teenagers, where your grandparents were parents. That's 41 years ago. "39 years later, in 2021, Mr. Biya came and through what they call their reintroduction of decentralization or their introduction of special status. What did Mr. Biya do? He made the same false promise that he made 41 years ago and told the people of Ambazonia that he's ready to construct a deep sea port in Victoria. And is ready to rehabilitate the Tico International Airport. That's 3 years ago. They deceived you 41 years ago, and in the last 3 years, you've been deceived. Now, let's read what one of their colonial senator, how upset A colonial senator is furious, extremely furious. Mr. Lionel Papi Natu Fonderson, the colonial senator for Fako, is crying out. And the head of state has actually granted them. But why are they not taking off? It's the cry and plea of the people. Every day they make a mockery of us. Whenever we attend all sort of political rallies and stuff, the first question is, when is the deep sea port starting? When is the Tico International Airport starting? From time immemorial, even those who were representing our people before us, they have been clamoring for these particular projects. This is Mr. Fonderson lamenting in the parliament. The Victoria Deep Sea Port was promised by Mr. Biya in 1981. In 1983, sorry. Has never taken off. But the sweet-talking government has kept making false promises to the population every single year. The seaport, which could create 20,000 permanent and temporary jobs, is estimated to cost 400 billion CFA. Do you deserve a seaport? Do you deserve an international airport? No, you don't. Because you are slaves. You are les anglophones. You are les Baminda, les Bayangi, les Chop Fufuan Eru, les Chop Achu people. You are les Anglo. You've been described as cockroaches. You've been described as dogs, right? So you don't deserve. Why should a dog be given a seaport? Why should an insect be given an international airport? Why should those that have been described as the enemies within be given such infrastructures? You don't deserve it. Has Mr. Biya completed the seaport in Kribi? There's no money. They need 400 billion CFA. That's only for the seaport alone. You're looking at about another 80 billion for the international airport in Tico. They don't have the money. They don't have the political will for development. Why should they give you an international airport when the one in La République in Douala looks like a village farm? Have they reconstructed the one in Douala? Have they reconstructed the one in Yaoundé? So we understand Mr. Fonderson is also making, it's also a game for him. He knows they can effectuate these projects. He knows there's no money. He knows it's all manipulation. So it's all part of the game to be relevant. It's all part of the game to keep extorting money from the colonial administration. It's all part of the game. And they will use these projects as more fake promises to deceive the people to participate in the fake elections. That's what this is all about. That's why they are bringing and reintroducing these conversations. That's why we want you to know. There is no hope for anything Cameroon in Ambazonia. The only hope for the Ambazonian people is total liberation and for us to dismantle anything Cameroon in our territory. Fellow Ambazonians, La République du Cameroon, the Cpdm government, Mr. Biya, he don't play the biggest political mafia with the political opposition parties. Last week, Mr. Biya, he sent message for the parliament, make the pass law, make the move, the municipal elections, the regional elections, and the parliamentary election, which is supposed to take place for 2025, make the move on into 2026. The reason we Igiam now say the country will not get money for carry out 4 elections for 1 year. He say money for the country, it don't finish. But there is more to it than say money for the country, it don't finish. Now, true say money for the country not finish, but there is more to the story. Now, a political game, now a political mafia for dismantle opposition parties for inside La République, for chakara the opposition and for make sure they don't get any voice. Normally, you go hold the council elections, and then you hold elections for the regional assemblies where they don't introduce them, and then you hold elections to the parliament. Now, these elections for council, regional assemblies, and the parliament, now they give all political parties them the representation for put candidates for the presidential election, and for use these councillors, the various councillors from the various political parties, where they don't vote them into council, into regional assembly, and into the parliament as momentum for prepare the ground for now campaign for the presidential election. Now, when you drivel the other opposition, then you push them for corner, and you can't hold presidential election first. Why Mr. Biya not cancel presidential election if money not there for the country? Why did he keep presidential election, make it go on, but they only postpone na the parliament, na the municipal, regional, and parliamentary election? Why Mr. Biya not postpone the presidential election? Now, because he want use the presidential election for thief the election so that the opposition no go get no power. Because the power is supposed to come now from the elected councillors, now from the elected members of the regional assemblies, and now for the elected members of parliament, will give this political party them the voice for go within their various constituencies, their various communities, the various subdivisions, the various divisions, and the various regions, and now for campaign. So when you now leave them, when you move the elections, all these other 3 elections, then you move on to 2026, and then you can't take only hold at the presidential election that they call and say the biggest political mafia for Cameroon in history. Waiting Mr. Biya don't do them, he don't eliminate opposition for Cameroon, he don't take the Maurice Kamto, the Cabral, Libi, the Edith Kawala, he take them, he put them as garbage for the streets of Cameroon. He take them, he put them for dustbin. They don't turn on a garbage. The political opposition parties for Cameroon now, they don't turn them like dirty for Douala, like dirty for the streets of Yaoundé. Like they smelling shit. They be useless. Now the mafia this way, Mr. Biya don't play them. So Mr. Biya, ye one, he go come now. They go leave all the Morris come to them, may they do the elections. But now they don't get any base for do the election. Because you need now the elected councillors. You need the elected regional members of assemblies. You need the elected members of parliamentarians for the various political parties them for go out and for justify why they need for elect them into the presidency. When you don't take all, when now they don't get any of these assets, then they want go be as for go be president now for waiting. So na political mafia, na political manipulation, na political deception, na political hijacking. Okay? The one that they call and say political abortion, basically. Or as I been call them before, they call and say political rape. All right. So the thing is, Mr. Biya, they don't do it for Maurice come to them. So all the political parties for Cameroon, they be now useless. They now like shit. So the Maurice come to them, they not get voice. Now the thing this way, it don't happen for La République du Cameroon. Mr. Biya, it don't mafia them. Mr. Biya, it don't 419 them. Mr. Biya, it don't scam them politically. Political scamming, political 419, political mafia, political manipulation at the highest level where they don't manipulate them. The master of stealing, the master of scamming, political ndos. Mr. Biya, he don't teach Maurice Kamto and all political opposition parties them for Cameroon a political lesson. So any person where if they go around, if they deceive any man, say hope go come for Cameroon through elections, you lie yourself and you lie to the people of Cameroon. There is no hope for the people of Cameroon through elections. There is no hope. Mr. Biya will gain 97% of that presidential elections. And then he go use now that win and carry him now, he sweep the council election, sweep regional election, and sweep parliamentary elections. And now all that. Then they will get now another 7-year mandate. Whether na ye or na Pekin or na someone else, they choose them for B-Day. That one na their wahala. But we will need for Kante na the honest truth. There is no hope for change for the people of Cameroon through elections. So any Ambazonia, any Cameroon bribe, corrupted, recruited agent, where it can't deceive the people of Cameroon or even the people of Ambazonia, say some form of change, it will come through elections. You did live for what they call and say la 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 land. You did live for the land of comedy. You did live for the land of fantasy. You did live for the land of dream, a bad dream. There is no hope for change for La République. There is only one way. A day where the Cameroon opposition parties, they fit do one for effect change for Cameroon. Mr. Maurice Kamto, not only one way, the last presidential election, you win the election, Mr. Biya steal them for you, openly. You win the election, before the result, the one come, it create the Constitutional Council. It take a man who don't retire the last 30 years, a best friend, they can't put it inside, they rig the election in front of you. Why would I want to repeat the same mistakes? Why? Because una the fear. The political transition, where una be the hope for, pray for, atanganji don't ban all una, make political parties, they not come together and act as one. So now with this new move, what if una chances? We only get that one chance for save the people of Cameroon and for save that state and for redeem ourselves as politicians for Cameroon. The only way for effect change for Cameroon, now for the political opposition parties for pick up arms and end the reign of Mr. Biya The only way for the people of Cameroon to get any form of hope and any form of change, not through armed resistance. The Cameroon military, now the time this, we are not supposed to be useful for our people them. We are not supposed to be useful for our country. We not put an end for this madness and we not take our country back. We not don't see them for Burkina Faso. We not don't see them for Mali. We not don't see them for Niger. The military, when the political elites, they hijack the system and deny the people any form of hope and progress and change. The purpose of the military now for step in and for save the nation. The Cameroon bees will not need for the go around and for terrorize the people of the citizens of Cameroon. For maintain a 97-year-old monster for power. Now a shame for una for wear the uniform as military men and women. Now a shame for any person where you call yourself a man or woman when you wear the uniform of a military officer or a security officer. Una country they in danger of collapse and implosion until una use the power of gun. Una step in. Una capture Mr. Biya and una take over una country and institute a new era for open democracy, for development for our people then. Cameroon gained independence since 1960. Most Cameroonians then, you don't even know what they call and say clean water to drink. Cameroon often produce simple Nivaquine or aspirin. Road not day. The country the smell. Everything don't decay and collapse. So Mr. Maurice Kamto use the Brigade Anti-Sardina and we now start a new resistance. And to the people of Northern Cameroon, now we not only chance this. 70% of the population of the 3 regions of Northern Cameroon, 70% of the population, they never even finish primary school. We talk about their big papa, their big mommy, uncles and aunts. And all the picking them, who they be up to 13 years old, they never finish primary school for the 3 regions of Cameroon. 70% of the population. Water no day, light no day, Boko Haram don't take over. So when I not get a country, when I get a cartel, the purpose of the Cameroon military and the purpose of opposition now for re-establish order for Cameroon and give the people of Cameroon a better future. As for we, the Ambazonian people, then, when I don't see what it's going for Cameroon, the generation don't rise. For remove we from this shame. Brave men and women, they don't rise. Just like people rise up for Mali, for Niger, and for Burkina Faso. Ambazonia don't rise. Forgive Ambazonia back to the Ambazonian people then. We get a responsibility as a people. We don't need for suffer. We don't need for be poor. We be a rich people. We get a responsibility. If we want a better and a bright future, we'll be different from the past. We'll be different from the pain. We'll be different from the humiliation. We'll be completely different from the killings and the burnings. It'll be different from the genocide we don't experience. We get a responsibility. We get at the moment is stand up for the liberation. Stand up for the liberation. The Ambazonia Governing Council, it don't put a ban on the sale of land to La République du Cameroon citizen. Any Ambazonia citizen where you sell land, Ambazonian land, to La République du Cameroon citizen or to any official of La République du Cameroon citizen, we violate Ambazonian liberation law. We must protect the only thing we get them, now our land. Not sell them for them. They don't really take over Victoria. They don't really take over most parts of Tiko, Mutengene, and Buya. They don't take most of those parts. Now, fight on the Komot, for that side, for Kumba, for that side, for Buya, about how La République now is the one they take people them from Bassa and Bulu land for can make them chiefs for Ambazonia. We call on Ambazonian youth for join Ambazonia Defense Forces. Instead for you, for say you want to go protest, you go protest now for who? You go protest for the same person who will occupy you. They never fix their own country, they can't fix their own. They never solve their own problems, they can't solve their own. We not join the Ambazonia Defense Forces, make we end this madness on our people. We not join the forces. Now, number one, join the forces. Number two, pay your liberation tax. And pay your family a liberation tax. Any family for ground zero, where you get Pekin, you get family members for diaspora, tell them to pay their diaspora liberation tax for free you, because we need the money for free homeland. Now a collective effort. If they not pay their liberation tax, you where you did for ground, the family where they for ground, where you get that Pekin, that brother, that uncle for diaspora, now you they go hold them for ground for make you pay the liberation tax on their behalf. So you know one time, make they can hold you and then you call them to pay the liberation tax. Make your family, make your picking them, your brothers, your sisters, your aunt, what they did for diaspora, make they pay their liberation tax. So that you where you did for ground, make you be free. The next few weeks, the next few months, the ground it go hot for any person who will not pay a liberation tax. Liberation tax for man picking at 10,000 for the whole year. Liberation tax for woman then at 5,000. The land must be free. Now the decision this will be collective. No excuse, no exemption. The land must be free. Every able man and woman must pay a liberation tax. Pay your tax. When I get a good night.
Ambazonia, you be in our country. La République say you be part of their own. Two countries with two independence, they say. La République say it be now one. Two countries with international boundaries. La République say it be now one. Now see when Boma swallow porcupine, brothers. Now you wait, the Republic they do. Now see when Boma swallow porcupine, brothers. Now you wait, the Republic they do. Ambalane, Ambalana, we homeland. Ambalane, Ambalana, we homeland. Ambalbe, Ambalbe, now we see it. Ambalbe. Ambalbe, now we see. Ambalane, Ambalana, we homeland. Ambalane, Ambalana, we homeland. Ambalbe, Ambalbe, now we see. Ambalbe, Ambalbe, now we see. The minister say we'll be not 2 kilos of sugar. Where they go, dissolve and fall. And my boss say we'll be not different. Ennemis dans la maison. Nyamdi Pascal say we'll be not nitwit say. Where we not be past their concours. Ambazonia, you be in our country. The Republic say you be part of their own. 2 countries with 2 independence, they say. The Republic say it be now one. 2 countries with international boundary. The Republic say it be now one.
What happened to their evil workers? So they never inside a chief, the own chiefdom. Chiefdom has 7 class chiefdom, where you get other small villages. So these people don't come now from inside there now. Imagine, man where na Basa man, so Bamenda man. When he comes say one big chief on job, he is under Misaka. He not been a Mongo man. And the surprising thing that's going to happen, they don't go for Joe's office or people, they don't call their document for SDO. So the one beg now, make governor know say that's it they happen now for inside a particular side. So this one and the thing that they have for under. The oil matter not just a surplus matter. They reach in that chief tents with the worker fighter. We just don't spend up to 56 million for the administrators them. So we can't now say one will put a big concern. They say the new for judicial police. So this now so surprised when I can say any person is supposed to be neutral. He don't enter to for chief tenancy. How can a man from Basa village can be chief for inside job? For inside Southwest for Mongo now. Never with one estimate governor. God forbid. For the matter. No SGO serious matter. God truly forbid. Because at level now, to know what take up so. Now so the matter they happen. So not be the matter for all the way down top. Now matter for chief tenancy for the poor for under. So now the simple story that when they come out late and they will beg my minister send delegation. Men and come for Chico. Men and come investigate. We don't go report for Joe for Chico plenty there. They would have watched them last time for a newspaper. Joe they will need to wait come with the phone for job. The one will not go tell you. That will not be phone. They will come for that side. But some man will come for stand one big cheaper for inside Southwest. Then other Joe decide now. So why them so the one make us so? It don't make we don't believe now say and now they are going to destroy we. We want peace for Cameroon as head of terror talk and bet the Joe way don't come where they want destroy Paco. So that's what I want to una. You some other people that will leave office with them.
Ambazonia, you be in our country. The Republic say you be part of their own. 2 countries with 2 independence, they say. The Republic say it be now one. 2 countries with international boundary. The Republic say it be now one. Now see when Boma swallow porcupine, brothers. Now you wait, the Republic they do. Now see when Boma swallow porcupine, brothers. Now you wait, the Republic they do. Ambalane, Ambalana, we homeland. Ambalane, Ambalana, we homeland. Ambalbe, now we see it. Ambalbe, now we see. Ambalana, we homeland. Ambalana, we homeland. Ambalbe, now we see. Ambalbe, now we see. part of their own. The minister say we'll be not 2 kilos of sugar. Where they go is all and far. When my boss say we'll be not difference. Ennemis dans le maison. Nyamdi Pascal say we'll be not nitwit say. Where we not be past their concours.
Here we are in Buya. Here we are in Buya to celebrate the 50th anniversary of our reunification. As the English people say, better late than never. In fact, after a long period of preparation, we are finally glad to be here at this historic town of Buya, the town of legendary hospitality. I am glad to be in Buya, the bedrock of our reunification. History has not forgotten that Buya was the headquarters of West Cameroon. History has not forgotten that Buya was the capital of southern Cameroons. Fellow compatriots, ladies and gentlemen, at long last, here we are in Buya. Here we are in Buya to celebrate the 50th anniversary of our reunification. As the English people say, better late than never. In fact, after a long period of preparation, we are finally glad to be here at this historic town of Buya, the town of legendary hospitality. I am glad to be in Buya, the bedrock of our reunification. History has not forgotten that Buya was the headquarters of West Cameroon. History has not forgotten that Buya was the capital of southern Cameroons.